Hi, I'm Ben Turpin and welcome to Whip Finish Industries, the final step in your fly fishing experience. Today I'm going to show you how to tie one of the most basic pheasant tails, but it's also going to be one of the most effective flies that you could have in your box. This is the basic bead head pheasant tail. This fly is going to match most of your small blue wing olives and many other mayfly insects, especially in their smaller stages. So it's a very important fly to have in your box. As always, during our videos here at Whip Finish Industries, you can scroll down and find all these products listed below, and you can get the exact materials I'm using to tie this fly. All right, we're going to start out with a Dairiki number 135 scud hook. It's a nice curved hook. It's going to give your fly a nice curved effect. There's nothing really straight in nature. Everything when it swims has a little bend to it. All right, so we're going to use a copper 5/32 bead or 5/64 bead, and that's going to be the appropriate size bead to match the size 18 hook. It gives you plenty of room on the gap so you don't lose fish, and it's going to help you get better hook sets when you're using this setup. So we're going to start out by wrapping our 8/0 camel thread down the shank of the hook, and that's going to help us build a base for all our materials to be attached to the hook and keep them from sliding around. Okay? We're going to use some 15 thousandths lead wire, and we're going to use that lead wire to pin our bead in place. As you can see, I placed that underneath the bead, and that just holds everything in place and keeps that bead from moving around as you're fishing the fly. So now I'm going to take our wire, and we're just going to wrap probably 3-4 turns. 4 turns is going to give us a good setup. And when we come back around, we're just going to use our thumb and our forefinger and pinch that lead wire right off. That way you don't use your scissors on the lead. We're going to wrap through the lead and then build a little base behind the lead wire, and that's going to give you a nice smooth tapered body. If you don't put that little bump of thread behind the lead, what'll happen is you'll wind your pheasant tail up to that and it'll split. And then you're going to have a gap of gray metal in your fly, which is not what you want. All right, we're going to take some natural pheasant tail and cut off about 4 or 5 fibers. As you can see, this pheasant tail has been hammered. We use a lot of pheasant tail here at Whip Finish Industries. It's just a great natural color to use for nymphs. Again, scroll down, you'll see a list of materials and you'll be able to find that natural pheasant tail right in your list. All right, you're going to take just 3 light turns of thread over the pheasant tail, and that allows me to slide it back through so I could get the proper length tail. All right, that's something that a lot of people have issues with, getting the right length of the tail. That's a good little trick for getting the right length of tail. I kind of stood that pheasant tail fiber up so I can grab it later. Makes it easier for me to tie the fly. Now I'm going to take a piece of small copper wire, and we're going to take that copper wire and we're going to tie it in right next to the pheasant tail. And that's going to be our rib, but it's also going to help hold this fly together. We plan on catching several fish on this fly, so we want to make sure it's a well-constructed fly. We're going to take our pheasant tail, just give it a little twist, and that'll help keep your fibers together. And we're going to take that little rope of pheasant tail and we're going to wrap it nice and neatly up the shank of the hook. And when we get to the bead, I'm actually going to put 1 extra turn right there behind the head, and that's going to help make everything nice and solid behind the bead. That'll keep the bead from sliding as well. So we're just going to wrap 4 or 5 nice tight turns around that pheasant tail, lock everything in, trim that nice and tight to the bead so it gives you a nice clean looking fly. Then we're going to take our pheasant tail, or our copper wire, and we're going to wrap it over our pheasant tail. Nice even wraps. Looks like we're going to get 5 turns, and we're going to come right up under the bead, and then we're going to take our thread and tie off our copper wire right behind the bead. So you're saying, where's the legs? There's no legs on this fly. Very simple fly, very basic. We're just going to take our thread and we're going to whip finish right behind the bead and make a nice, neat head. Sometimes I just take my fingernail and I push that bead back a little bit in case it rocked a little bit while we were tying. Again, extremely simple fly, very effective. Definitely something you want to have in your box in October, but throughout the year. So you can scroll down, you can look through, you can find all the materials you need to tie this fly. and we'll get them shipped out to you. We appreciate you watching Whip Finish Industries, and we'll see you soon.